Vince McMahon facing more legal action following his WWE return. Plus, an ex-WWE star has signed with Impact Wrestling, and scrapped plans for the 2021 Royal Rumble have been revealed. We'll get to that in a bit, and it's all in the wrestling news right now. Vinnie Mac's comeback met with flack. A lot of shareholders have been kicking off about the return of Vince McMahon to the boardroom. What's the latest development on this, Andrew?
So back on January 5th, when Vince McMahon returned to the board, he filed to change WWE bylaws that would have effectively given him ultimate control over the company, bypassing the board of directors for major decisions. Now, this led to multiple lawsuits from WWE shareholders accusing Vince McMahon of breaching fiduciary duty. Now, Bloomberg reports that McMahon has repealed those changes, and as a result of reversing them, the lawsuit claims have become moot. In light of this, the two investment funds that are suing Vince for breaching duty are now pursuing a mootness fee, as it's believed that their lawsuits are what caused Vince to backtrack on his plans.
Now, if there becomes reason to believe that, as you say, these lawsuits are why Vince McMahon changed that bylaw back to what it was, then there's certainly something to be made there. There is a little bit of muddying in the waters today because a third investor group has filed a lawsuit against Vince McMahon with slightly different claims. Their lawsuit doesn't only include the claims about McMahon seizing back power, but also includes claims about McMahon's alleged misconduct, a sexual misconduct, I might add. All three lawsuits are considered a consolidated case, so all three cases are lumped together.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what's happening now is two of them are now changing to seek out a mootness fee. But this one case, the one that we're talking about here, which is revealed by Bloomberg as Carol Casal and Cristal Laville, they have gone and said, well, no, ours isn't about the bylaws. It's not just about the bylaws. It's more about like stuff around that. Like, so we don't want to take a mootness fee. We want to continue this on. So there's a motion being put in place to split these off again. So it means that the legal issues will continue for Vince McMahon, despite the fact that one of the main sticking points, one of the main reasons why a lot of these shareholder lawsuits are coming through, surprisingly not for the allegations, but more so for this push to seize control via changing the bylaws.
Yeah.
Because now that is a moot point. It doesn't matter anymore. It still doesn't end the legal problems that Vince McMahon is facing.
Oh, Tom, there's a lot going on already, isn't there?
Messy business.
It is very messy business. And
we will keep you up to speed with it at cultaholic.com as we find more. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling. A little bit of something normal. Former WWE star Connor from the Ascension, now officially on the books. He has signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. He's been on and off for the company since sort of the late end of last year, and then he joined the rebirthed Violent by Design, now known as The Design, and so now, because he's part of this faction going forward, they say, hey, there's a contract.
There's a contract, and as you were saying, I don't think he's really had too many televised matches so far on Impact, but I mean, I think it's undeniable to see for yourselves that he looks in great shape. He looks in great shape, and I genuinely think from what we have seen of him on TV, I think he's actually really, really improved as well over the years. So I'm excited to see where this goes as well. I quite like this whole the design faction and everything. I
like the video where they killed Eric Young.
Me too.
Where Cody Dean literally killed Eric Young.
Did. Yeah.
If he turns him in the Rumble, then I would call shenanigans.
It's a different multiverse. It doesn't matter. It's a different timeline over
Murder's
there.
murder, mate.
Well, I guess.
I tell you what, if Eric Young's not in the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna sue Dina for murder.
Jesus.
I'm gonna call the police and go, there's been a murder. There's been a murder.
Actually, one more thing.
I do believe that this Eric Young fella has been murdered by this here Diener boy.
I like that.
Thank you. Glass Onion on Netflix now. Ric Flair had some comments to make about Takeshita.
He did.
You leave our boy alone.
You leave him alone.
However, Takeshita has given the most wholesome response.
Oh my God, he actually has as well. He said, I have the utmost respect for Ric Flair. It is incredible to me that he mentioned me. I need to practice a lot as I haven't done much chopping in Japan. Thanks for the advice. I would like you to actually teach me if possible. Watch my chops grow show from now on. And I think the chops in question were the ones that were thrown during his match with Bryan Danielson the other week. And I went back and I was like, I don't really recall them being awful chops at all. I went back and watched it, and I think there's a segment, and I think you can see it on Twitter as well. Basically, Danielson's on his knees, and Takeshita's chopping him. And the only thing I can see that maybe might need to perhaps be worked on, the speed of it. But at the same time, I think sort of Takeshita was selling being gas as well, you know? He was like tired out. But like, I think the sound of it and the impact of them, I thought they were pretty bloody good.
Before you say whose authority is this Jackie Weaver here to talk about chops, this is a guy who's taken chops from everybody in the office.
Including you.
I gave you a lovely chop, didn't I?
You put a chop on me.
Put a little meat chop on.
You did put a meat chop on a vegan.
Forgot briefly
Didn't
you were
you,
vegan.
Tom? Eh?
I'm going to hell. I apologised in the same way
You did?
that Ric Flair did to Becky Lynch. In the
Put a
news
chop
this
on
week.
her.
He put a chop on
He
her.
did put a chop on her. Should we tell him what's going on,
Let's tell the
Tom?
story, old bear.
So, Ric Flair talked about his Raw 30 appearance on To Be The Man. He said, I felt like I was respected, I felt like I was wanted, I felt like I was part of it again, and I walked away a better man, with a better understanding of who I am as a person and what the business is about. It started out with me and Hunter talking for about an hour, which was a private discussion about resolving a lot of issues that have been lingering for a couple of years. He then went on to say, then I apologized to Becky Lynch. I walked up to her and said, may I speak with you for a minute? And I said, I'm sorry that it ever got to where it is. The man trademark, the whole thing was decided by someone else besides she and I. It's not worth it. I'm not the man anymore. The man is whoever the people think it is. And basically, we've turned it over to social media to decide who the man is.
But I like that Ric Flair went and had a chat with Becky Lynch. And
Yeah,
said,
me
sorry
too.
about that.
Me too. I think stuff like that is warranted, you know, between adults when things like that get a little bit, I guess, when because things on social media can always spiral out of control due to things like context and whatnot, and other people interjecting their thoughts and things into other people's arguments and issues and discussions. So it's nice that he actually did something good and went backstage and like approached Becky Lynch and they got to hash it out together. I think that's the best thing to do.
We're not all perfect beings.
No.
Be a little kinder, be a little humbler, as they say. Let's end on some news about the Rumble, about the fruit of Ric Flair's loins. The fruit. Okay, so let's go back to Royal Rumble 2021 since it's Rumble week. Let's talk about a Rumble from the years gone by. So this was the one that was won by Bianca Belair. We had that incredible closing moment with Belair and Ripley.
Oh, it was so good.
So very good.
So good.
Now, on the Public Enemies podcast, Chris Dunn was interviewed. Who's Chris Dunn? Well, he's a former WWE writer, and he revealed the original ending to the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh.
He said, I was in a Tampa hotel room, and we were watching some sort of football game, and an assistant had just left the Royal Rumble night before meeting, and they had changed the finish to Charlotte Flair going over. They'd even rehearsed Charlotte going over and Bianca Belair being eliminated midway through the match.
Wow.
So the original plan for that Rumble was going to see Belair gone long before the final four and Charlotte Flair march into her second Rumble win.
And that was just the night before as well.
That was the night before.
Insane.
However, he goes on to say that Ryan Ward, who was a lead writer in NXT around this time, actually had a chat with Vince McMahon and he says something to the effect of, Vince, if you look at the Royal Rumble tomorrow, you have Edge winning and Charlotte winning. We're not making any new stars. And apparently this resonated with Vince to the point where he went, you're right, pal. And that led to the finish that we got, which was Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley as the final two, and it led to Bianca Belair winning the whole thing.
Yep.
That promo that, according to Chris Ward, who they interviewed here, that promo that Bianca did after winning the Rumble was potentially a bit of a sink or swim moment.
Yeah.
To see how that went over.
Yep.
And they were happy with her, and
She nailed it.
She's had a hell of a title reign ever since.
She's been so good. She went on to have the match with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania as well, which was such a good match. I think that was one of the matches of that whole entire weekend. And then obviously, yeah, as Tom said, we've seen her go on to do really good things as the Raw Women's Champion. And I guess that's a lot of pressure to put on someone who is relatively, I guess, a new star on the main roster of WWE as well. And I think she's absolutely proved herself worthy of holding that championship.
Yeah, forever a big fan of Bianca Belair. especially since that time she agreed to let me reenact a scene in EastEnders with her.
Yes.
That was a thing that happened in September. What a weird day that was. It's on the YouTube channel. Go seek it out. I dare you coward. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Case.
Love you, bye.